Alhamdulillah, the easy part of the study circle is going to be that you can join at any time, and you can miss one or two and then come back, and you still benefit. So it's not a lecture you miss half of it or a third and you lose track of it and you stop coming. So you can, anytime you come, you will be inshallah able to benefit. So we reached last week Maliki Yawmiddin, and Allah Azza wa Jalla said Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Mind you, we are talking to Allah Azza wa Jalla. We are saying Alhamdulillah. Allah said to us, Qul Alhamdulillah. And we read in another surah, Qul Alhamdulillah. So Maliki Yawmiddin, the owner of the day of judgment, the owner of the day of the accountability. Also, Deen means also religion, because you compel yourself to follow a set of rules and to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's your religion, that's your set of things you follow. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. In Arabic, the simple language they taught in school, na'buduka, na'buduka. But when you say na'buduka, we worship you, you could say wa na'budu ghayraka, and we worship somebody else as well. But when you say iyyaka na'budu, only you we worship. So that's important to know. Only you we worship. We don't worship anybody else, and only you we rely on. Now,
so that means I've seen from some Arab friends that when you give them some dua or say something, and they reply wa iyyaka, how does that fit with iyyaka?
Wa iyyaka here and include you and you. May Allah include you. So if he says Jazakallahu khair, they say wa iyyaka,
Yeah.
and you. So you hear singling out you with their reply, and here we are singling out Allah Azza wa Jal only. We say iyyaka na'budu and wa iyyaka nasta'in, wa iyyaka nasta'in. The problem we have that we don't rely on Allah until things go wrong. When you have a problem, the first thing you address it, you appoint Allah Azza wa Jal as a helper straight away. You appoint him as a solicitor, as an accountant, as a doctor, as a nurse, as a driver, as a policeman. You appoint him. I am relying on you. I'm doing this and this and this and this. I'm likely to know, forgot something, please remind me. And then you ask other people to help, and you look into the other people's experience and whatever, and you all what's available. And then you go back to him. I've done my bit, so I'm waiting for you to do your bit. So nasta'in has to be from the start and to seal you to the end. So along the way you have to take the means. You have to do the means. You have to do what is needed, what's expected from you to do. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. So if we worship you and we rely on you, so we expect you, being our Lord, to guide us to the right path. So I might be totally wrong in choosing this, although I'm relying on you. Might be totally wrong. So you might, so show me the better way, the alternative way. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. And many times you'll find that people start a project and end somewhere else. They start a job, they end somewhere else. They start a university and they end somewhere else. Why? Because if you ask Allah Azza wa Jal from the start how to help you, then you will find that Allah Azza wa Jal will get you right along the way all the time. So you don't have to keep modifying. Inshallah, next week, if Allah gave us the ability, we might go through this project, this topic with you. So this topic is it true you start planning for old age when you are 12 years old? So I want to tackle that issue, and you will see when we talk about it inshallah next week that it's actually very important we come to learn that we rely on Allah. Because you don't want to waste 5 years of your time studying in university and you end taxi driver. Go and do it when you are 18, because you might become a millionaire when you are 25. So there were two talking and said, you remember so and so? He said yes. So he's been very successful. He went to university and he finished. He had PhD and he had this. And oh yes, he said yes. What did you do? He said I left school when I was 16. So where is this guy? He said he's working for me. So the guy who had the qualifications working for the guy who left school when he was 16. But if you ask Allah Azza wa Jal to help you from the start, it's definitely Allah Azza wa Jal will get you on the right path. Probably acquire the knowledge, because the job you're going to end doing need that knowledge. And many take you in university because you have the ability to negotiate, the ability to discuss, the ability to lead, the ability to rule about things. They don't care whether you studied chemistry or mechanic or whatever, but they want the personality. I remember when Marwan applied to Pricewaterhouse and other companies, he took so many psychological tests and interviews and things. They want somebody to do a job in their mind. Can he do it? So if he can't do a job which we want him to do, we'll employ him. Never mind being this and that and the other one. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم from the start. Guide us to the right path. And then the path of those who you were generous with them. You bestowed your grace on them. You bestowed your favors on them. You helped them out. So Allah Azza wa Jal, whoever Allah helped out, he must have had a real success. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Not those you were angry with. Those who you were angry with. And not those who went astray. So some will tell you that مغضوب عليهم are the Jew. Where in the Quran you find it? How did you know? Allah Azza wa Jal was angry with many people, Muslim and non-Muslim. If you go and say غضب, let's say غضب, and see what Allah said about it in the Quran. Not for me, but غضب. I'm on strict diet by my wife. غضب, you go to search the root.
So am I.
So you search the root, غضب.
She's right there.
غضب. غضب. What did you do wrong? غضب. أبو تعين. غضب. Yeah. غير المغضوب عليهم. كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم ولا تطغوا فيه فيحل عليكم غضبي ومن يحلل عليه غضبي فقد هوى. So Allah was talking here to the sons of Israel when they were with Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when Allah Azza wa Jal asked him to come and talk to him, and he's reminding the Jew that we've given you the man and salwa, and eat from the good things we gave you, and do not exceed the limits, and do not commit any excess in aggression or anything. Otherwise my ghadab will be on you. So that's, yeah, the Jew at that time with Musa alayhi salatu wassalam. And then الذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش وإذا ما غضبوا هم يغفرون. Somebody became angry. Talk about Allah Azza wa Jal غضب. والخامسة أن غضب الله عليها أن كان من الصادقين. Here, if a lady was accused of adultery and the husband is the one who accused her and he hasn't got eyewitnesses, he has to make 4 times oath by Allah that he saw her committing the adultery. And she could avoid being punished by making 4 times oath that she didn't and he was lying, and the 5th that Allah will be angry with her. So Allah is not only angry with the Jew, Allah could be angry with anyone who makes certain sins. Right. فرجع موسى إلى قومه غضبان. Musa was غضبان. And he told them that he was talking to the sons of Israel that why you worship the calf, because they worshipped the calf when he was out there. بئس ما اشتروا به أنفسهم أن يكفروا ما أنزل الله بغيا أن ينزل الله فضلا من يشاء من عباده فباءوا بغضب على غضب وللكافرين عذاب مهين. who is Allah Azza wa Jal talking to in Surah Al-Baqarah? That وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ كِتَابٌ, those who, when the book of Allah came to them, confirming that they had a message from Allah and this is the last message from Allah, they used to say before that when the last message come, we will follow it. And they were asking Allah Azza wa Jal to make them win for the sake of the coming prophet. But when the coming prophet came, they refused the message and they replaced it by something else. So this is why they acquired the anger of Allah Azza wa Jal and the ghadab of Allah Azza wa Jal.
But that's again the Jews. Jews of Medina used to say that.
Yeah, but the woman who was who denied that she committed adultery could be a Muslim. So yeah, the ghadab could be on this and this. Again, here Musa was angry. Musa was angry again. وَذَنُّونِ إِذْ ذَهَبَ مُغَاضِبًا. Dhannun, Yunus, he was angry and he went and he thought that Allah will make it easier for him. Allah didn't. Allah made him even tighter for him and he was inside the whale.
But that means angry.
غضب, angry. غضب.
Same thing, angry.
غضب, because you have the dad difficult to
that's why I was
pronounce.
thinking in Urdu, ghadab.
We say
Yeah.
resolve.
Here in this ayah, whoever kills a person, a mu'min, a believer, deliberately, his punishment will be hellfire and he will be there living eternally there. And Allah will be غضبان, غضب الله عليه, وغضب الله عليه. It could be anybody. Could be Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, whatever. So غضب of Allah Azza wa Jal, مغضوبين, not only Jew. The Quran translated by the people in Medina, they put Christian and Jew and there were heavy attack to them, heavy criticism from Britain because they started reading. Why you talk about us that we are the people who Allah angry with? You are, and Allah didn't say Christian and Jew. Allah is not sure to say, He would say, but don't take it as Christian and Jew. Again here, وَمَنْ يُوَلِّهَمْ يَوْمَئِذًا دُبُرَهُ إِلَّا مُتَحَرِّفًا لِقِتَالٍ. Whoever run away from the war, unless he's following a plan, arranged plan by his leaders, if he run away from the enemies, he will be Allah will be angry with them. Allah will be angry with them, and he deserves it because he's. And we teach his children this is one of the 21 big sins to run away from the fight, the war. So Allah will be angry with whoever run away from. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا الْعِجْلَ, here are the Jew who took the calf as God. And Allah said they will have the ghadab of Allah Azza wa Jal. And those who argue about Allah Azza wa Jal, refuse the message, they keep arguing. بِمَعْدِ مُسْتِجْوَى, after Allah responded to them, the argument is refused by Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah will be angry with them. So whoever refuse the message of Allah and dispute the message, Allah will be angry with them. Now, أَلَمْ تَرَ الَّذِينَ تَوَلَّوْا قَوْمًا غَضِبَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مَا لَهُمْ مِنْكُمْ وَلَا مِنْهُمْ يَحْلِفُونَ الْكَذِبَ. That's in Surah Al-Mujadila, and that came أَشْفَقْتُمْ أَن تُقَدِّمُوا بَيْنَ يَدَيِ اللَّهِ بَيْنَ نَجْوَاكُمْ الصَّدَقَاتِ فإذا لم تفعلوا وتاب الله عليكم فأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأطيعوا الله ورسوله والله خبير بما تعملون. ألم تر الذين تولوا قوما غضب الله عليهم ما هم منكم. Here Allah talk about a group of Muslims who sided with the enemy of Islam, and they deserve Allah to be angry with them. So it's not only what we are talking about. It's not only the Jew who deserve to be Allah is angry with them.
Is there an ayah about Christian people that they will be?
We're coming to it. Yeah, coming to Darlene. وَذَنُّونَ.
No, so Allah will not be angry with the Christians.
Allah will be angry with anyone who commit that act, worshipping other than Allah Azza wa Jal, replacing the message of Allah by something else, lying while on oath and, you know,
No, but usually
run away
in
from the
this,
war.
category, it's usually Jewish people.
This is wrongly given by some scholars.
No, but you gave the example. Most of the examples are either Muslims who have done this or Jewish people.
But I gave other example, a lady who could be a Muslim,
Yeah.
who accused her husband, and a Muslim who could be in the army and run away from the army.
But not Christians. You haven't.
No, he's a Muslim, run away from the army.
No,
Allah
what
would,
I'm saying is you haven't mentioned Christians so far.
if they do that act, they will be included.
Right.
Yeah. Whether they are Christian or Hindu or Sikh, whatever, they rejected the message of Allah. Allah is angry with them. Now, here the Arab who was talking about Lat and Uzza, Allah angry with them because they claim these are gods. Here Allah talking about the Jew who took the who were fishing on Saturday. ويعذب المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات الظانين بالله ظن السوء عليهم دائرة السوء وغضب الله. So the ghadab here on the hypocrite, whatever there could be hypocrites in Judaism, hypocrite in Christian, hypocrite in Islam, and the mushrikeen, the atheist. The ghadab of Allah is on them. Here, anyone who leave Islam after he became mu'min and he dies on it, Allah will be, ghadab of Allah will be on him. He didn't say die here, but the one who accepted kufr and opened his heart to it, Allah will be angry with him. Here talking about the Jew, because of their mess about, and here also talking about the Jew when they asked Musa to take them to a land where they can eat beans and cucumber and broad beans and lentils, and so here back the Jew. A lot of ayahs on the Jew, but a lot of ayahs on other than the Jew. So when you come to غضب Allah, when you come to ولا الضالين غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, don't only restrict it to the Jew and the Christian. Now,
no, we're just saying that maybe that's the reason why scholars have taken it, because from the list which you have given it, like more than 50% at least is talking about the Jews, all the ayahs in the Quran.
Yeah, but Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't include all the Jew. Allah Azza wa Jal says لقد كفر الذين قالوا no إن الذين لعن الله الذين كفروا من بني إسرائيل. He didn't make la'an to all the sons of Israel. He made la'an, cursed those who disbelieved of the son of Israel. So Allah is very careful, obviously Allah is the one who created, not to be caught. The Quran can't catch the Quran with a mistake. Why they caught them? They said, oh, you're saying the Jew. The Quran didn't say the Jew because it said ghadab on this and this and this and this. This group of people have ghadab. When they restricted it to Jew, they were snapped. And those who snapped them were right. And they brought it from the Abdurrahman al-Sudais giving the khutbah in the Haram in Mecca. Hear what your Imam saying? We, the Christian and Jew, you are the only one. Now we have Dr. Musa, Faisal Musa. You know him? Anyone? Yeah. He wrote an article for the paper. One of the articles, you know, Ahmad wrote last week, Ahmad Riza, an article, and he wrote the hadith. كل مولود يولد على الفطرة فأبواه يهودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه. They rejected the article because he wrote every child is born on Islam, on purity of Islam. He put pure there, and his father and mother make him Christian, Jew, or pagan. They said, only you born pure? We're not born pure. You are the pure only. So they didn't accept. The hadith كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. الفطرة is by nature you follow this. By nature, automatically you follow this. And those who don't follow, they believe in Allah Azza wa Jal because they are changed by their parents, made them this and this and this. So if you say believe in God, it will be easier than say He is pure, and the rest are not pure. But actually they rejected that, so they had to change some of the word. وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, again, الضَّالِّينَ, you will be surprised how much ضَلَّ is the root probably. Now, وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. Whom Allah talking about here? ضَالًّا.
Some kind of promise.
Prophet.
Promise.
The Prophet. Which surah? والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قال والآخرة خير لك من الأولى وسوف يأتيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى. يعني الضحى here. ووجدك ضالا. So what ضالا means?
To deny it
No, the Prophet never denied Allah exists.
or to reject
He was always believing in Allah Azza wa Jal.
No, I'm just talking about the word here.
Yeah, ضالة. Yeah, talking about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad wasn't ضال that he's denying. ضال that he couldn't find the way. He was searching. That's why he was going to Ghar Hira. He wanted to know. Please God, let me know directly. I make some dua. Make me arif billah. Make me like introduce yourself to me. He's talking to Allah. Introduce yourself to me. Make me directly have believe in you because you yourself introduce yourself to me, to my heart. So dal means didn't find the way. He's trying to search for the way. ضال وأضلوا كثيرا ولا تزد وقد أضلوا كثيرا ولا تزد الظالمين إلا ضلالا. What ضلالا means?
So what does it mean, that one word?
The first one means he didn't find his way. He got lost. Didn't know where to go.
Going astray. Going
Yeah.
astray.
And found you wandering. You don't know where to go, right, left, and center. While dalal here means wrongdoers, but in straying from their mark. And grant those no increase to the wrongdoers, but in the straying from their mark. واغفر لأبي إنه كان من الضالين. Those astray.
Da'ala.
ضل.
Dalla.
ضلل. The root is ضلل. وإذ فعلتها إذن, when Fir'aun said to Musa, you killed a person when you were kafir, said, no, I was ضال. I was an error. I didn't know. I was, was a mistake. وَأَمَّا إِنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُكَذِّبِينَ الضَّالِّينَ here, wrongdoer. They go wrong. He's a liar. He's deliberately going wrong. ثُمَّ أَنَّكُمْ أَيُّهَا الضَّالُّونَ. So it has two meanings. It has two meanings. To restrict it to the Christian, that's not fair. So we say Ameen, may Allah accept, because we're making dua. We're making dua. You're saying to Allah, guide us to the right path, the path of those who favored, not the path of those who you were angry with or who went astray. So there's people who don't have the knowledge and wondering what it is, and there's people who went to the wrong way. Now, if we leave Surah Al-Fatiha, we go to Surah Al-Baqarah. ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. Now Surah Al-Baqarah, it's amazing surah because it has, you need really to go out of Surah Al-Baqarah and focus to see the topics. Otherwise you keep moving from topic to topic. You don't know why Allah talking about this. So if you come to the beginning, Allah Azza wa Jal talking about introducing to us for the first time the type of people. There's a believer, there's hypocrite, and there's the believer and disbeliever and hypocrite. The believer, he spared to them 5 ayahs. If you take out Alif Lam Mim, 4 ayahs. So unbelievers, he spared 2 ayahs. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم. 2 ayahs. When he talked about the hypocrite, he spared 1 ayah, 2 ayah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, no, 14. 14 ayah. The most difficult people to cope with, to deal with, to understand. They are slippery. They tell you they are double standard, two-faced. Go from here to here. So Allah Azza wa Jalla spared this 14 ayahs for us to understand these hypocrites and then know how to deal with them. Then after he showed us the 3 types of people, he told us that you should worship your Lord because he's the one who created you and those before you, and then he created everything for you, and he brought you to earth ready for you to live in, nothing missing. He didn't forget to order this and order that and make this or make that. And this Quran is actually telling you what you need to know and challenge you to bring a similar to it. Otherwise, be mindful of hellfire. And he said those believers will go to paradise, enjoy the entertainment there and luxury life, and others will go to hellfire. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla said that he will bring a lot of examples to you and show you the mighty of Allah, and it will be like an example of a mosquitoes, or more complicated than a mosquitoes, more complicated, more difficult, وما فوقها, in difficulty, because it's a full science, and never break the promise of Allah Azza wa Jalla and turn you back to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And how would you turn you back? And he created you from nothing, and he will make you die and bring you back to life again, and he's the one who created everything on earth for you, and then he went to heaven and made the 7 heavens, and he's aware of all things. And then he started telling us where things started. So he started telling us about creating of Adam, and how he went through the creation, and how he blew the spirit into him, and he asked the angels to bow to him, and how things went wrong with Adam, and how Shaitan managed to get him out of Jannah and got him down to earth. And then he said, you are a nation now, let me tell you about nations who went wrong and what happened to them. And then he started listing the wrong with the sons of Israel, and now how they did, what they did. And that takes around 4 or 5 pages. That takes really 4 or 5 pages. And he take you back to Ibrahim. There's where it started. And he goes down with it. So Surah Al-Baqarah is actually like a book by itself, telling where it all started, who started it, who are we dealing with, who brought us here, how did we get here, who made us, who created us, who was receiving message like us, who went wrong, what was their mistakes. And he listed their mistakes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then never copy these mistakes. These are the things went wrong with them. Don't copy them. Be careful. And on the other hand, he's saying to the Jew, that wasn't wrong, didn't it? That's what you've done. Can you deny it? This is the things you've done wrong. And this in ayah, أكثر الذي على بني إسرائيل أكثر الذي كانوا, bring you the ayah, يقص على بني إسرائيل يقص على إن هذا القرآن يقص على بني إسرائيل أكثر الذي هم فيه يختلفون. This Quran explained to the children of Israel most of the matters in which they were disagreeing with. So you will see Allah tell them in Surah Al-Baqarah and other surah, you've done this, don't you? You've done that wrong, that wrong. First, to remind them. Secondly, to tell us, never copy this. So we'll go, inshallah, from next week. We'll still go to Surah Al-Baqarah, and we'll start with verse by verse. Yes, brother?
So, so in your meetings with the Jewish community, have you ever brought these things up?
What that? We didn't have many meetings with them. We only met them once in Birmingham, and when I challenged them with the ayah that the Jew, the most enemy, the fiercest enemies to Muslims are the Jew and the the associating partner with Allah, and they are closer to the Muslims than the Christian. I left them with that challenge. If you really want to prove the Quran wrong, go and love the Palestinians, bring them back to Palestine. And the second time when I showed them the film, and they asked me to stop after 10 minutes, they didn't want to see it. So I said, okay, if you don't want to see a film praising your prophet, which I thought I was doing a good job. If somebody come to show you a film how mighty Muhammad was, how great he was, you would love it, wouldn't you? But they didn't. They said, no, sons of Israel more important than all the prophets. Yeah, I left. Because they took the ayah, kuntum, what's the ayah? That's, no, it's it's in Surah Al-Baqarah. Let me bring it here. كنتم خير أمة الناس, it's for Muslims. Yeah, Baqarah, and must be yeah, قالوا لن تمسنا الله نار أياما معدودة. Yeah, I'll bring it to you, inshallah, some next week, inshallah. That they took themselves as the favored nation, the most selected, Shab al-Mukhtar.